Hello, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about stress and breathing. I've seen a few breathing exercise videos going around, and I thought it might be useful if we actually, instead of focusing on a particular breathing technique, we actually started to think about how it is that we breathe normally or naturally. So, in other words, instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to go and spend a minute or 2 minutes or even 15 minutes doing this particular exercise, well, how is my day to day breathing normally? How is the way that I breathe communicating with the rest of my nervous system? Or how is my nervous system and my stress levels, how is that affecting the way that I breathe? Okay, because breathing is one of those very interesting things. It's part of our autonomic nervous system, and it means that we can consciously control our breathing. But if we don't consciously control our breathing, generally we're going to breathe anyway. It's quite difficult to stop ourselves breathing. So before we think about, well, how is my normal day-to-day breathing patterns, let's think about what might affect our breath. We've just talked about stress, but what does stress mean? You know, stress isn't always anxiety or fear, but certainly fear and anxiety will change our breathing. But the other things that we can consider as stressors are things like sitting all day for a job, or sitting in a car for long periods of time, sitting on a couch for long periods of time. So I guess that's sitting generally. Things like pollutants in the air, things that inhibit your breathing, particularly if you have an allergy. And diet, what we eat every single day, what tends to be or form the main part of our diet will also affect how we breathe, believe it or not. And tension. Okay, so tension can be related to fear or anxiety, but also sometimes we consciously create tension. And, you know, one example of that is squeezing the tummy. And as soon as we squeeze the tummy because we want to look nice in our clothes, or because somebody has given us an instruction to engage our core, then our breathing suddenly becomes very, very different. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a couple of things to think about. I don't want this video to be, you know, hours and hours long. We'll just add on to it over the next few weeks or so. But let's just start with posture for one example. So posture is just one example I'm going to give you today, and you can practice and see if it makes a difference. So firstly, I just want you to try something, and that is, I don't know if I stand sideways, it's hard to get my whole body in, but what I get you to do is, and a lot of people have this kind of posture anyway, is I want you to try and, you know, stick your chest out and stick your bum out a little bit. I'm sticking my bum out even if you can't see, and then I want you to try and breathe in. You can put your hands just on, kind of just below your ribs, around your belly button, and take a breath in and see how that feels. Now for me, I can count maybe 2 seconds if I breathe in, if I try and breathe in here, and then it's pretty much getting stuck somewhere here. Okay. Now the other thing I can do is do that kind of posture where I'm sticking my chest out, sticking my bum out, and then I can engage my core, whatever that means. Okay, so if someone was going to give me that instruction, engage the core, which I'm sure you've heard a myriad of times, for me, this is what I would do. I'm immediately squeezing my belly. I can feel myself squeezing my bum. I can feel myself squeezing my pelvic floor. So maybe just take a few seconds, engage your core, and make a mental note of what you actually do when you engage your core. What does it mean for you when someone tells you that? So let's all engage our core however we do that, however we normally do that. Then stick our bum out and stick our chest out, and then try and breathe in again. And for me, I don't know about you, but there's nothing going in at all. Okay, it feels really stressful. So just appreciate that what you did then was take your body into a stressful state. Okay, as soon as you squeeze a muscle or a bunch of muscles, like I just did, and I'm sure you did as well, as soon as you adjust your posture into a position where it's actually hard to get air up here into the chest, your body's going, danger, danger. And then it's going to be struggling to get more air in, and there's going to be a whole load of other physiological changes. So let's do something different, and you can judge for yourself if it feels a little bit easier to breathe. Okay, so I'm just going to get you to have your feet, you can't see my feet because it's really hard to get the whole of my body in this video without standing all the way over there, but let's just have our feet a little bit wider apart, so maybe about hip width. And if you take your hands, I'll show you where I mean, so you're going to take your hands here to the front of your hips. Actually, maybe I'll bring that down a little bit so you can see a little bit more easily. So we're going to take our hands to the front of the hips here, all right? And just at the front of the hips here, you can feel that's your groin area here, and I'll get you to push the front of your hips forward. So what it feels like is that you're about to lean back, but when you're leaning back, don't take your shoulders back because you'll go, that feels a bit panicky. Bring your shoulders forward. So front of the hips, go forward, bring your shoulders forward. Okay, and then gently push down on your pelvic floor, and then breathe into your tummy. And breathe out when you're ready. So that's a little bit of an easier position to actually breathe into your tummy. And when you're breathing into your tummy, you're engaging your diaphragm. When you're engaging your diaphragm, you're actually creating a completely different response. Okay, it's not a fight or flight response, it's a rest and digest response. So if your bum is sticking out and your chest is sticking out and all these muscles are super tight, your pelvic floor is really tight, you can't breathe very well. Okay, you can't take a deep breath. This is me taking a deep breath in this position. Stuck. Doesn't work. Okay, try and relax your tummy, relax the pelvic floor, gently pushing down, and then try and breathe in. And relax. Thank you.